The Chinese Communist Party's 104th founding anniversary.
For 104 years, the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, has proven itself as nothing but a ruthless, self-serving monstrosity thriving on fear, violence, and deceit. From its first days, this CCP never cared about the people, it cared only about consolidating absolute power.
Before 1949, it wore the mask of liberation.
After seizing power, it showed its true face, an unrestrained dictatorship that treated China as its private empire. In the countryside, the so-called people's government quickly turned into a caste of local despots. Village chiefs and party secretaries ruled as petty emperors. If you dared to question them, you were silenced or destroyed.
Ordinary people could be imprisoned simply for leaving their hometowns without permission.
Families who had always farmed their land were branded enemies of the people for having the wrong ancestry. In the Great Famine, grain was stolen to feed the regime's delusions of grandeur while tens of millions of people starved, resorting to eating grass, bark, and even the flesh of the dead.
When desperate families tried to cook food, the CCP enforcers smashed their pots and left them to die.
Political terror was the CCP's daily routine. Children were brainwashed to worship Mao Zedong like a god. Fathers and sons turned on each other to prove their revolutionary loyalty.
People were not valued for their humanity but for their usefulness to the regime's paranoia.
When the so-called reforms began, they were not born from a genuine desire to improve lives but from fear that the entire system might collapse under its own filth. Yes, material life improved, but corruption, bribery, and gangster rule flourished. I witnessed firsthand how village officials basked in obscene privilege while ordinary citizens remained powerless. The one-child policy revealed the CCP's utter moral rot. Thugs from the family planning offices stormed homes like an invading army, burning property, assaulting women, tearing unborn children from their mothers' bodies, murdering newborns in cold blood.
It was state terror no less evil than any atrocity committed by foreign invaders.
And then came Xi Jinping, an unscrupulous opportunist who wrapped himself in slogans about anti-corruption and national rejuvenation, only to turn China into a dystopian surveillance state. Under Xi Jinping, the CCP has plunged deeper into repression and delusion. He silences every dissenting voice, crushes civil society, and demands blind obedience to his cult of personality. He dares to call this dictatorship rule of law, while he tramples China's own constitution and rigs it so he can rule for life. Economically, Xi Jinping's arrogant mismanagement has driven China to the brink, the collapse and closure of countless businesses, soaring unemployment, ballooning debt, and widespread desperation. Diplomatically, his regime has alienated the civilized world, turning China into a pariah and a threat to global stability. The CCP has never served the Chinese people. Not in 1949, not in 1979, not in 2012, and not today. Every policy, every slogan, every law is nothing but a shield for its greed and cruelty. It wages war on Chinese people, suffocates every aspiration to freedom, and feeds off the suffering it creates. On this 104th anniversary of its accursed existence, let it be said without apology. The CCP is a vile, corrupt parasite. It is an enemy of the Chinese people, an enemy of humanity, an enemy of civilization itself. It deserves neither respect nor forgiveness, only absolute rejection and condemnation. History has shown again and again that no regime built on terror can last forever. However powerful it seems, the CCP is nothing but a decaying husk propped up by fear and lies. The day will come when its tyranny will collapse in disgrace, and the Chinese people will finally be free to reclaim their dignity.
That day cannot come soon enough.